DreamWorks is an American film studio. The studio was founded on October 12, 1994 by Steven Spielberg, Jeffery Katzenberg, and David Geffen, and to this very day, the studio is still alive and healthy. So, how did it become so popular? Let's find out. DreamWorks, SKG founding, and Universal distribution. The original company was founded following Jeffery Katzenberg's resignation from the Walt Disney Company in 1994. Katzenberg approached Steven Spielberg and David Geffen about forming a live-action and animation film studio, which had not been done in decades due to the risk and expense, but all three were very successful. They agreed on three conditions. They would make fewer than 9 movies a year, they would be free to work for other studios if they chose, and they would go home in time for dinner. They officially founded DreamWorks SKG on October 12, 1994, with financial backing of $33 million from each of the three partners, plus $500 million from Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen, and $300 million from CJ Group, Hyrus Mikey Lee. CJ Group would acquire distribution rights to DreamWorks films in Asia, except Japan. Their new studio was based at offices on the Universal Studios lot, in the same bungalow as Amblin Entertainment. Despite access to sound stages and sets, DreamWorks preferred to film motion pictures on location. Usually, however, the company would film in a soundstage or set in a major studio. In December 1994, DreamWorks Television was formed after DreamWorks agreed to a $200 million 7-year television production joint venture with Capital Cities ABC. The company was set up to produce series for broadcast networks, cable channels, and first-run syndication with no first-look guarantee for ABC, but financial incentives favored the network. Their first show, Champions, was scheduled as a mid-season replacement for ABC. Dan McDermott was named the division's chief executive in June 1995. DreamWorks Television's first success was Spin City on ABC, the parent company of which was bought by the Walt Disney Company in February 1996. In 2002, the DreamWorks joint venture agreement with ABC ended. That agreement was replaced by a development agreement with NBC with a first-look clause. In 2013, DreamWorks Television merged with Amblin Television. In 1995, traditional animation artists from Amblin joined the new studio, which led to DreamWorks buying part of Pacific Data Images, a company specializing in visual effects, and renaming it PDI DreamWorks in 2000. Both were software divisions and would merge later on. By then, DreamWorks had the traditional animators working for their animation department, and the computer animators worked on CG films. Amblimation would be shut down in 1997, leading the staff to join DreamWorks Animation. The same year, DreamWorks Interactive, a computer and video game developer and joint venture between DreamWorks and Microsoft, was founded. On February 24, 2000, Electronic Arts announced the acquisition of DreamWorks Interactive and merged it with EA Pacific and Westwood Studios to form EA Los Angeles, later Danger Close Games. In June 1995, DreamWorks announced that it had signed a $1 billion deal with MCA Incorporated, then parent company of Universal Pictures, to distribute its seriatical releases in other countries and its home video releases worldwide over 10 years, while DreamWorks itself would distribute them for the company as a film production label in America. MCA also bought a 2% stake in the company for $54 million. In 1996, the company's record label, DreamWorks Records, was founded, the first project of which was George Michael's album, Older. The first band signed to the label was Eels, who released their debut album, Beautiful Freak, that year. The record company never lived up to expectations, though, and was sold in October 2003 to Universal Music Group, which operated the label as DreamWorks Nashville. That label was shut down in 2005 when its flagship artist, Toby Keith, departed to form his own label. In 1997, DreamWorks Pictures released its first 3 feature films, The Peacemaker, a film about terrorism, Amistad, Spielberg's first film for the studio about an African slave rebellion and the aftermath of the massacre, and Mouse Hunt, the studio's first family film about 2 brothers trying to fight a mischievous mouse. In 1998, the United States Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals upheld a lawsuit against DreamWorks for trademark infringement by DreamWorks Production Group Incorporated, a company mostly specializing in Star Trek conventions. The same year, DreamWorks Animation produced its first full-length animated features, Ants and the Prince of Egypt, which were distributed by DreamWorks Pictures. DreamWorks Pictures continued to distribute DreamWorks Animation Productions through their distribution name until 2004. In 2000, DreamWorks was planning on building a studio backlot after buying 1,087 acres of land in the Playa Vista area in Los Angeles. It was to be complete with 18 sound stages with many office buildings and a lake. There would also be new homes, schools, churches, and museums. The project was to be completed in 2001, but was cancelled for financial reasons. Starting in 1999, DreamWorks won 3 consecutive Academy Awards for Best Picture for American Beauty, Gladiator, and A Beautiful Mind. The latter 2 were co-productions with Universal Pictures. DreamWorks became the first new major Hollywood motion picture studio since RKO Pictures was founded in 1928. Go Fish Pictures, a division of DreamWorks with the objective to distribute art house, independent, and foreign films, was founded in 2000. The division experienced success with the anime films Millennium Actress in 2003 and Ghost in the Shell 2 Innocence in 2004, respectively, which led them to venture into releasing live-action films, with the release of Chum Scrubber. However, the Chum Scrubber was a commercial and critical failure, which led DreamWorks to shut down the division in 2007, shortly after the release of the Japanese film Casern. In 2002, DreamWorks signed a deal with In Demand. For the period beginning October 1st, 2004 to January 31st, 2006, DreamWorks Pictures distributed its films in the North American domestic theatrical and worldwide television market, with international theatrical and worldwide home entertainment distribution by Universal Pictures. On October 27, 2004, DreamWorks Animation was spun off into a separate public company. David Geffen admitted that DreamWorks came close to bankruptcy twice. Under Katzenberg's watch, the studio suffered a $125 million loss on Sinbad Legend of the Seven Seas, and also overestimated the DVD demand for Shrek 2. In 2005, out of their 2 large budget pictures, War of the Worlds was produced as a joint effort with Paramount Pictures, which was the first to reap a significant amount of profits, while The Island bombed at the domestic box office, but turned a profit internationally through Warner Brothers Pictures. Paramount ownership. In December 2005, the original Viacom, the then parent company, the then parent of Paramount Pictures, agreed to purchase the live-action studio, still keeping the original name and producing/distribution name. The deal was valued at approximately $1.6 billion, an amount that included about $400 million in debt exceptions. The acquisition of the live-action DreamWorks studio was completed by the second iteration of Viacom, which had recently split from the original at the end of 2005 on February 1st, 2006. On March 17, 2006, Viacom agreed to sell a controlling interest in the DreamWorks Pictures live-action library to Soros Strategic Partners and Dune Entertainment 2. The film library was valued at $900 million. Paramount Pictures retained the worldwide distribution rights to those films as well as various ancillary rights, including music publishing. The music publishing rights were later licensed to Sony ATV Music Publishing when the company acquired Viacom's famous music subdivision. Sequels and merchandising. The sale was completed on May 8, 2006. On February 8, 2010, Viacom repurchased Soros' controlling stake in the DreamWorks Pictures library for around $400 million. Reliance Spielberg joint venture. In June 2008, it was reported that DreamWorks was looking for financing that would allow it to continue operations, but as an independent production company, once its deal with Paramount ended later that year. Several public equity funds were approached for financing, including the Blackstone Group, Fuse Global, TPG Capital, and several others. But all passed on the deal given their understanding of the Hollywood markets. On September 22, 2008, it was announced that DreamWorks closed a deal with Indian investment firm Reliance Anil Dubhrabhai Ambani Group to create a $1.2 billion standalone production company and end its ties with Paramount. In January 2009, Spielberg entered a licensing agreement with DreamWorks Animation to use the DreamWorks trademarks, logo, and name for film productions and releases. On February 9, 2009, DreamWorks Pictures entered into a long-term 30-picture distribution deal with Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures, by which DreamWorks films would be released through the Touchstone Pictures banner, with Disney collecting a 10% distribution fee. The deal also included a co-funding via a $175 million loan by Walt Disney Studios to DreamWorks for production and access to slots in Disney's pay television agreement with Starz. The agreement was reported to have come after negotiations broke off with Universal Pictures just days earlier. DreamWorks raised $325 million from Reliance Entertainment and an additional $325 million in debt in 2009. On August 18, 2009, DreamWorks and Reliance signed a 3-year, $825 million pact for up to 6 films a year. DreamWorks' slate of films in 2011, I Am Number 4, Cowboys and Aliens, and Fright Night failed, while The Help, Real Steel, and Spielberg's War Horse had success at the box office. This left DreamWorks so financially drained that by 2011 the company was seeking additional funding from Reliance. Reliance gave a $200 million investment on April 10, 2012. Under the deal, DreamWorks Pictures scaled back production to 3 films per year and sought co-financiers on big-budget films, such as 20th Century Fox, who co-financed and handled international distribution for Lincoln and Bridge of Spies. The company continued to have Disney distribute and market their films. On August 29, 2012, after renegotiating their agreement with Disney, DreamWorks formed a deal with Mr. Smith Entertainment to distribute its films internationally. While Disney would continue to distribute in North America, Latin America, Australia, Russia, and some territories in Asia. Amblin Partners Venture. On September 2, 2015, it was reported that DreamWorks and Disney would not renew their distribution deal, which was set to expire in August 2016, with The Light Between Oceans being released in September as the final DreamWorks film distributed by Disney under their original distribution agreement. During that time, DreamWorks was in early negotiations with Universal Pictures to distribute its upcoming films. The contract allowing Spielberg to license the DreamWorks name and logo from Jeffery Katzenberg's DreamWorks Animation was set to expire on January 1, 2016, leading to media speculation that Spielberg would not renew the pact. Disney retained the film rights to the 14 DreamWorks films it released, as well as acquiring the DreamWorks 2 Distribution Company LLC copyright from DreamWorks and Reliance on December 11, 2015. On December 16, 2015, Spielberg Reliance Entertainment One and Participant Media partnered to launch the content production company Amblin Partners, relegating DreamWorks to a brand for adult-themed films produced under the new company. In addition to DreamWorks, the new company also would produce films under the Amblin Entertainment and Participant banners. On the same day, Amblin Partners announced a 5-year distribution deal with Universal under which the company's films would be distributed and marketed by either the main Universal label or a specialty label, Focus Features. The Girl on the Train was the first film released under the new agreement, although a few films like Ghost in the Shell and The Post were released by Paramount Pictures and 20th Century Fox respectively. And there is the history of DreamWorks. How did it become so popular? Well, I think when they started to do a merger with Paramount Pictures and a whole bunch of other companies, I think that's how they became very popular. And also due to the fact that one of the founders was also a former employee of Walt Disney Studios, which I think was also another reason on how this company became so popular. But anyways, with all that being said, I think I'm going to end off this video. If you guys haven't enjoyed this video, please make sure to like button. And also, don't forget to subscribe, because I do videos every single day. And also, don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell on my other 2 channels, including Exotic and Walkthroughs, where I do walkthrough videos for you guys, and Dance Plays, where I upload the RMVs with the swearing in them, and some exclusive content on there for you guys as well. And until then, I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye!